Okay, welcome everybody. Okay, I'm just doing my sound checks again. Can someone let me know if you hear me? Just want to make sure you hear me. We are live. And I'm turning on my notifications. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Just making sure that people can get in and that people are aware. Hopefully, more people come in as the stream goes on. And so, my goal today, first of all, thank you for being here. And my goal today is to go through the special secrets again, along with the general secrets, but also a fourth secret that I have not talked about. I've been talking to people one on one about this over the past few weeks and months, actually, and that special secret. Plus, I also have an additional training here in this webinar. So for the first about half of this webinar, I'm going to talk about like the real training, and then you can get that and jump off if you want. But I would encourage you to stay to the end because I have a special announcement to make. All right, and if you watch all of the first secret video, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, who am I, right? Let me just give you an overview. In today's presentation, I want to show you how I have my notes on my screen here, how I was able to go from knowing nothing about printed circuit board design to needing to teach it to people and also to learning it myself, of course, and using Cadence, Allegro, and PSpice, and or Orcad eventually. So I started off with uh, not knowing how to do it, and then eventually I learned how to design switch mode power supplies. So the buck converter, the SEPIC, boost converter, buck boost converter, in Allegro of all software programs. You know what I mean. So it was challenging. It was definitely challenging, and I want you to know that if you're just struggling with getting PCB designs made and making sure that they can work, having the confidence in yourself to do that and using your electrical engineering degree, then you're in the right place right now, okay? So my name is Kirsch Mackey, and I am a electrical systems engineer, and I've been in power systems. I worked as a power systems engineer. So two different sets of industries. I work in renewable energy now on the distribution side, and I just last year I was working in the independent service operator side. So you know, and that's who I am. And I've spent the past, I think, since 2007, 2008, working with Allegro and Orcad in different capacities, like for doing simulations and circuit simulations since 2008 at least. So I have a lot of experience with Allegro and Orcad since version 9, version 10, version 16.5, 16.6, 17.2, and now 17.4. So I'm pretty well versed in it. I've designed power electronics boards. I am also a PhD student in electrical and electronics engineering, and I also have a master's degree in electrical and electronics engineering, a bachelor's degree. Um, so anyway, that's a bit about me. I have a lot of interests, and I built some boards. Okay, I also deeply understand electromagnetic theory, not as deep as the antenna people. Okay, but I have some knowledge of that. And last year, I obtained 3 certifications: Orcad Capture, from EMA Design Automation. So I'm certified in that version of 17.2. I'm certified in PSpice, Orcad PSpice, and also I'm certified in Orcad PCB Editor. So why am I here talking to you today? You may have seen my videos earlier last week or this week talking about these secrets to becoming a professional hardware engineer. And um, the thing is, there's a huge misconception about what it takes to become a pro hardware engineer and design PCBs that are a 6-layer board or 8-layer board and things like that. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not a lot of work, because it is, okay? But what I would say is that my understanding is that um, you need to sort of pay your dues, put in the years to get really good at PCB design and things like that. And while that is indisputable, we know that experience is the greatest teacher. I want to say that I'm going to tell you why I don't think you don't need years of experience in industry to become good at professional level PCB design. Okay, and how I was able to get to designing PCBs and also landing a job that pays me well in electrical systems engineering, reviewing some PCB designs and schematic layouts, and also doing side jobs that that pay me well as also. Okay, that you don't you and in a relatively short time from when I actually understood things. All right. Um, I didn't have to spend 10 years in industry picking up stuff from other engineers. I learned this stuff on my own, and then it became the thing. Now I did have some guidance, some tips and tricks here and there from a veteran engineer. So please don't interpret what I'm saying as a replacement for real industry level experience. It's not. What I'm saying is you can get to amazing levels of proficiency and professionalism and competency by using by not doing that. Okay. um, so that I want to share with you how I was able to get there, and an additional secret that I haven't shared before, an announcement and a special little bit of training for some actual theory. Okay, so we're going to be doing some little actual theory. Okay, so first I will tell you about how spending years in industry to do PCB designs that are professional is just it's just not it's not it doesn't have to be true. Okay, it's possible that's how it's done, but it doesn't have to be that way. Then I'll share with you the three secrets, and actually it's actually four secrets that I learned to achieve the level I'm at now. So the three secrets are: if you've seen my first video, there is a roadmap. There is a there is a there is a set of steps and a set of topics you can go through systematically, step by step, and understanding the theory and doing the application that can take you from zero to hero, essentially, in printed circuit board design. The roadmap exists now. We have the information. And I have books in the PDF that I'm going to give to you. If you stay to the end of this video, this webinar, you're going to get that PDF. I'm going to make sure note that and get that PDF to you. Okay, there's a link to it. It's still a work in progress, but I'll send it to you. Okay. Then secret number two is that in following that roadmap, there is a certain method you can use to train to essentially train yourself to become more competent than just knowing the lay of the land. Uh, and so and I shared that secret with you in secret number two, which is to copy certain reference designs. So secret number one, solution to secret number one is get the roadmap. I'm going to share that roadmap with you in the new PDF. Secret number two, use reference designs and application notes to get better. Okay, that's done. Secret number three is you do designs that have already been made in order to really start ramping up and gain confidence in your skill set. Okay. Now, before I get into the nitty gritty details of secret number four, let me share exactly how I actually discovered this. So the old method is that I didn't know anything about PCB design. I didn't know how to actually design a PCB in Allegro. And but I needed to teach students how to actually build their own PCBs. Oh, guess in which software? Allegro. Well, that didn't go well the first year and a half that I was tasked to do that as a graduate teaching assistant. Big surprise there, right? People were using Eagle CAD, KeyCAD because it was easier, and PCB design software that were just more intuitive because school is hard already. Why are we going to spend time learning software you kind of need a PhD to master? Yes, I'm talking about Cadence Allegro, right? But it's very powerful though. So, and it can get overwhelming and confusing. Learning the skill at the same time as learning a complex, powerful tool, it's daunting. So after a number of years of just banging my head against the wall, months, I came across certain books that were lifesavers, like Craig Mitzner's Complete PCB Design using Orcad Capture and PCB Editor. If you don't have this book, I highly recommend it. This is not a paid promotion or endorsement or whatever. There's no affiliate, whatever. It's just this book is a lifesaver in terms of general PCB design in Orcad PCB Editor. So if you don't know about this book, Um, just kind of take note of it. If you don't take the note, that's fine. It'll be in the PDF. Hopefully, I'll send it tonight. When I said I'll send it. Okay. Now, the so I had a guide that was a godsend, and that was able to help me get up to speed a little bit, but really getting into the details of the practical applications, like picking out capacitors and stuff like that, I had to learn that from other engineers. I had to learn that from application notes. And there's just stuff that was missing in like this book and other books and guides and PDFs that I just picked up from people with the experience who learned how to do it, other graduate students. And that took years. That's the old model. What I realized though was that when I finally had some level of skill or proficiency, and we needed to, and by we, I mean me and my professor for the senior design course, he's a 20-year veteran of PCB design. We needed to teach them both the skill and the software. I learned the software as fast as I could, but also the skill as fast as I could. When we needed to teach them both, we were able to get our average learning time for people who never designed a PCB before. This is senior engineering students, senior senior year undergraduate electrical and electronics engineering students. They didn't design any PCB before, but in 3 months, by the end of those 3 months, they were able to design. The top teams were able to design PCBs that actually work. Okay, two-layer piece printed circuit boards, but still nonetheless, a team designed a SEPIC like that would got charged off a bicycle and charges your battery off a bicycle and stuff like that, and it actually worked. I was amazed at the time. I'm like, man, these guys are doing better. They know stuff that I don't. Um, but I was so busy I didn't go through the details of designing that myself, not until later. So anyway, in going through that process, I realized and learned that there is a method you can use, a strategic step-by-step approach you can use to actually learn PCB design and lay out your board, a decent sized board with a number of components, maybe 50 unique components or so that actually works, whether it's power electronics or something else, in 3 months or less. Okay. Well, it was 3 months at the time for people who didn't know anything about it, but it can be an even shorter time if you've been working in the industry and you've been exposed to this stuff. Okay, it doesn't have to take you a year, it doesn't have to take you 6 months, even 3 months. It can take you as short as 2 months, although that's cutting it short. And if you do what is Deliberate Practice by Cal Newport, and if you use the ultra learning method that I naturally use, I didn't know I used it until I read a book by Scott Young called Ultra Learning. You should get that book. It's how you can learn hard skills much more quickly. Just to give you some reference, Scott Young is a gentleman um, who he took note of a number of natural ultra learners worldwide. I did interviews with them and codified a process. He picked people who are sort of like autodidacts. Oh, hey, David. Okay. Nice to meet you. Hello, David. Okay, let me just say hi. Well, I guess you can hear me. Hi. Thank you for being on the call. And thank you all for being here. And yeah, where I was saying is, oh, and feel free to ask some questions. Feel free to ask questions as I talk about that. But I'm giving my pitch, so excuse me if I'm running a little fast. And I will definitely take questions at the end, of course, too. Hey, Debs. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, thank you for being on the call here, or on the webinar. And so, um, where was I at? Oh, right. So Scott Young, he looked at a number of these autodidacts, natural. He didn't have a name for it at the time, but ultra learners, people who learn hard things, hard skills quickly, much more quickly than the general populace. They um, they use certain methods, certain not typical methods, because the methods they use were not the path of least resistance to learning those skills. It's like, what are you doing? Like, but at the end of it, they were able to gain hard skills more quickly than they would if they used normal methods of study. Now, I use this method to study other subjects and topics, but I did not apply it to PCB design. I applied it to um, when I was able to pass the fundamentals of engineering exam with only 30 minutes of studying, my first try, I was able to get a pass on the general and specific electrical section. I don't tell people a lot about that because it sounds ridiculous. I didn't even believe it. I thought I was going to fail, but I use a certain method beyond ultra learning, my personal method to do that. But anyway, that's enough of that. Scott Young, why is he important? He codified a process that these natural ultra learners use, and then he called it ultra learning into 9 steps that allowed them to take this amount of time that would take to learn a skill and squish it down to this amount of time. And that's and I found that when I looked through all the steps, these are steps that I've always naturally applied to the process of learning hard skills. So if you may find if you read that book, you might also be an ultra learner naturally. Okay, so why did I mention that? Because Scott Young, he used the skills, applied that, and he was able to pass all the MIT undergraduate computer science curriculum in not 4 years, not 3 years, not 2 years, but 1 calendar year. Okay, MIT. Okay, so he using the ultra learning process. So you can, if you do it correctly, you can reduce your learning time by a factor of 4. Okay, so instead of a year, which I'm sure if you follow this blueprint in this PDF I send you later, you can become pretty good in a year if you follow that format. But there's an even better method, the ultra learning method. Okay, so that's pretty much the main thing to knock down the idea that you have to pay your dues in um, in hardware design engineering and industry. But again, using the ultra learning methods and additional methods that I use to get good and proficient at hard PCB design, professional level, just professional, like just on professional, it doesn't compare to 20 years of doing it every day in and out. You were talking about some expertise, and we're talking about grand mastery. I'm not comparing those two. All I'm saying is instead of 5 years of osmosis based learning and disconnected learning to get to a proficient level, you could take 1 year and then you could even squish that down to 3 months. It's maybe a crazy claim, but I'm just saying you're not going to capture everything, but you can get pretty close. So, um, so people think that it can take forever, or people think that when they do their printed circuit board design that they may not know that it's working and things like that. We can cut through all that, and that's what I wanted to tell you about today. Those 3 secrets and how you can overcome those barriers and gain the confidence you need. That's what allowed me to land get multiple streams of income. So let's talk about that. Before I talk about that, there is a 4th secret. Now, people have been asking me about this one since last August that I didn't even know was that big of a problem for some engineers, but it is. It is. And that is the job hunt. This is secret number 4 that I want to share with you. I have a simple system that I use to go from, oh, hello. Hello, Mantvidas. Okay. Grivaskas. All right. Okay. Huh. All right. Now, glad to see you. Thank you. Hi. I'm gonna say hi again, even though you can hear me on the video, but it's just a habit. I'm just gonna type the hi. I don't know why. All right. So thank you for coming on this presentation, and the rest of you who are watching. So now, where am I at here? Right. Secret number 4. Special secret number 4. The special secret for number 4 is that there is you don't have to, if you don't have a job, or if you do have a job and but you're wanting to make some moves and go to a different job, you don't have to play this uh, thousands of applications and hearing nothing back game. Okay, that's what I used to do. That's what a lot of people do. It is the black hole. Doing the job application stuff is the black hole. And even when you do the job application online and stuff, you need to format your resume in this very specific way. Now, I learned how to do this formatting. Some of you may have as well, probably, if you're super serious about the job hunt, to just get past the application tracking system. But the resumes I've been seeing lately, it's like None of them are optimized for the application tracking system. I don't think people even know. I didn't know. I was a master's student who had no internship. You know, I tried to play it off as, oh yeah, well, I always wanted to go to graduate school anyway, so I'm not too. I can get a job at any time. Nope, bunch of applications, nothing back. I'm like, man, maybe I don't have the skills. Maybe I don't have the network. The sub secret of special secret number four is that you don't need to have a huge network. Okay, I know people who are working in Apple. They barely. I mean, they don't even have a picture on their profile. They don't even have a LinkedIn profile. They knew one or two people who got them the in and out. But you already know that, right? You know the internal stuff. But here's the thing, you don't even need to play that game. It's very advantageous to accelerate your progress toward getting uh, particularly the high earning, I'm talking about plus $100,000 a year salary. So you definitely want to play that game and you can, but you only need to know one or two people in general or basic networks. Okay. And I discovered that just by mistake. I stumbled upon a career fair. I knew one of my students who I taught. We didn't keep in touch at all since he graduated. 3 years later, he comes back to the career fair. It was me saying certain things, certain specific things and key terms and keywords, not manipulation tactics, just certain things that resonated with the recruiter that really got the conversation going. I had never had that level of success before. Okay, with any career fairs, it was always nice conversation. I thought it was going fine, and then boom, they're like, "Oh, well, it was nice talking to you," and I get no interview. And I'm just like, what's going on? Now I seem distracted. That's because I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I'm giving you all the information in this training. Um, So, um, so the first thing is you can say you don't have to play the millions applications game. There is a system that instead of doing that game where you spend a bunch of time submitting a bunch hundreds of applications to try to hear something, there's a method that I use that includes fixing up your resume the right way. They don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you how to get past the application tracking system. The first step is you need to learn how to get past the application tracking system. You have to format it properly. The second thing is you need to format your resume to match the job description. Okay? It's not a straight up copy of the job description. What I'm saying is you pick the top 6 terms or skills that are on the job description and you match them with your top skills on your resume. And you use a left to right flow method and you reverse engineer the job description to write your resume. Okay, and you formatted the resume a certain way. You formatted a certain specific way in order to pass the application tracking system. So why do we do both of these things? The reason for step one, application tracking system, I swapped them. Is to get past the ATS. Once you get past the ATS, the application tracking system, you might reach humanize. If you reach the humanize and the millions of emails these recruiters have to work with, then when they look at it, they and the hiring manager, if they look at it, they need certain things need to go with the brain psychology, right? It doesn't matter if you're the best candidate on paper. It's how does the paper that represents you come across to the person reviewing the document. That's what matters. So you have to work on the psychology. It's not enough. They're not going to take the time to look at the complex words you use. So first of all, unless it's technical terms, do not use complex words. When you say distribute, even though it sounds powerful, you could use distribute because people, but it's more use a word or synonym that has fewer characters or fewer syllables. Use simple terms and stuff. Why? Because the brain will process that more easily. Whatever the brain can process easily, it's going to read. I'll say that again. Whatever the brain can process more easily, it's going to read and want to read. And whatever key terms match with what's in the hiring manager's head, with what they want, when they see it and your document's easy to read, they're going to pay attention to you. So what you want to do is get their attention. If you can't get the person's attention, I mean, a lot of you probably haven't even heard about me because haven't been getting people's attention. So it's like nothing. I could be the smartest guy in the world, but who cares, right? If they don't know about you. So if they don't know about you and nothing gets their attention, when they see it, they're going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they're going to look through the people who did that. So you pass the ATS system, the application tracking system, and you get through the psychology in the brain. And by reverse engineering the job description. Here's the thing, though. You have to be careful about reverse engineering the job description because if you keyword stuff your resume, it's going to get flagged by the application tracking system and bumped out. Also, if you write easily, it means you understand what you are doing. Yes, if you are able to put things in simple terms and if you're able to be brief, then that is a very strong indicator of a true command, a deep understanding on the intuitive level of what you're doing, a level of sophistication, so that the complex things become simple, like this beautiful iPad I have here. I guess it's product placement, but Um, so it's and all technology is beautiful, I would say. So that's a very good point, Montvidas. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe the T is silent, I'm not sure. But in any case, that's what you do, but that's not where it stops there. How do you, if we get past the application tracking system, we get to the person's desk. Oh, awesome. Okay, I pronounced it good. I pronounced it well. And uh, is something going to get a call for you? Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to probably look you up if they even bother with resumes anymore like that. Because they're probably going to go on Career Builder or these. This is the third thing. You need to be on the big websites for jobs. And then once you've finished your resume, you need to sort of copy and paste um, and redistribute your resume descriptions and stuff on your job profiles, on your professional profiles. LinkedIn, take advantage of LinkedIn. Recruiters are looking through LinkedIn. See, here's the thing. Once you have the right keywords on your LinkedIn profile that match the actual job description on LinkedIn, the recruiter and the hiring manager are going to be looking for those keywords. And guess who they're going to pay attention to when they pop up the results? The people on page one. Does anybody go on page two on Google? Never. Okay, so the people on page one, that's who they're going to look at because their life is busy already. They're going to say, okay, pick out these guys, maybe page two, page three. If you don't get to page five, come on, you're SEO, man. So search engine optimization. We need to optimize your search. Hello, Rashid. Nice to meet you. Hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining, everyone. We're up to 12 viewers now, or 11. Okay. Great, great. And so now, like that's the thing about it, right? Search engine optimization. Now I'm belaboring this topic too much. Where do you hide the dead bodies? Page two, Google. Yes, David. We use the online services. Where do you hide the dead bodies? Page two on Google. Yeah, that's funny. That's true. It's true. So that's kind of the reality of what's going on the careerbuilder.com, on um, LinkedIn, on monster.com, and on Indeed. You need to try to get to page one, man. All right, so that you're relevant. You make things easy for the psychology and the work. So now we're up to 30 minutes. I'm going to spend 10 more minutes going through this training, and then I'm going to get to a little bit of some technical stuff because I know you're here for some technical stuff, or at least I believe so. A little bit of that high-speed design, right? Principles. So we're going to do a little bit of that. Now, but I felt like I needed to talk about this because some people are hurting with the situation and people want to make moves. So yeah, you need to do that, the search engine optimization. And then lastly, and that brain hacking and of the resume. And then on top of that, you need to have a profile that stands out. And on top of that, you need to show off your projects. So this ties into the secrets 1 through 7 in the free PDF I have been sharing or trying to share for the past week. The special secrets prior to this one, once you have your portfolio and your confidence show them off on your profile. Show them off on your profiles, right? Okay, how many people are doing that? You know, how many people show off their projects on their profiles? I would say, if you show off your project on your profile, raise your hand. You say me, and it's fine. I didn't know this stuff. If you didn't, I didn't do this for years until a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was making less than 28,000 a year as a graduate student, but now I'm making uh, five times more than that, right? So in a year and a half. Excellent. Yeah, Manvidas. Yes. Great, great. So Manvidas showed, but it's something I didn't think about. We cannot share our professional projects, personal work. Absolutely share your personal work. All work counts because you set yourself apart. And David asked that question. We cannot share our professional projects, personal work. Absolutely. Show that stuff off. Even if it's a two-layer board. Here's what I heard when the senior design undergraduate students actually had boards they could present at their senior design presentations at the end of the school year. Actual engineers from like General Electric showed up, looked at the presentations, and they said, "Oh, that's really cool. I didn't even design a PCB, but when I graduated, right? So you don't know who you're going to impress." And yes, yes, Madvidas. Madvidas is saying that this shows you're interested in PCB design or electronics. And even in those boards, even if those boards are not perfect, absolutely. It shows that you put your money and your skills and your effort where your mouth is, where the rest of the applicants, the rest of the people who have job profiles and descriptions, I mean, they say the words, but man, here's the thing. This is the other sub secret and the special secret number four: proof and belief. If you can prove what you did, people will people will believe what you say on your profile. So here's the thing. There are many fake resumes out there. I would imagine that there may not be as many fake engineering resumes. I don't know. But what I'm saying is when you say there's a difference when you say, "Oh, I know how to design PCBs." And there's a difference between someone who says that and someone who has some printed circuit boards lying around. These aren't mine that I've designed, but my other ones I designed and I left them in different locations, like my switch remote. This is one I designed, but I haven't unboxed it yet. Um, yeah, but I'm gonna do an unboxing for that. And they say, yes, Stevom, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So if you have these lying around and somebody shows up and they're like, oh, those are cool, and they see your name on it, they'd be like, dude, you built these? And you're like, yeah. And you're like, what? That's amazing. You don't even have to say anything, right? So the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is in the eating. On Tuesday, I'm presenting my thesis for developing an EMG prototype PCB system. Any suggestion? Oh, okay. So that's another thing. When I did my project work, and as far as presentations, I mean, I knock it out the park. I didn't even think about that. Um, Technical presentations, if you're a research student and whatever, you know what? In Auth 79, email me at kirsch@hosofu.com. I mean, I clean up with presentations. I'm telling you, when it comes to technical presentations, I knock it out the park. Okay. I'm talking about standing ovations. And I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, because for a long time I didn't believe myself to be a presenter per se. But then when my colleague, my peer, he would be like, dude, how do you do that? Like, how do you just and all that stuff? It's a lot of practice. There's a way you can do technical presentations that'll make you seem like the Steve Jobs of presenting, like when it comes to technical presentations. So if you want some tips and pointers on that, just email me. I'm an undergraduate student. By the way, you helped me a lot, man, to achieve the design. Oh, okay. You're welcome, Enoch 79. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it helped. Okay, we have Arjun. Hello, sir. I'm from India. I'm a sophomore in electronics and a beginner in PCB design. Any suggestions? Oh, yes, I got some suggestions for you for sure. Okay, I got the 3 secrets. Well, first of all, the PDF with the 7 secrets. And you know what? Let me get back to you. Email me at kirsch@hasofu.com. I'm typing it in. I have a bunch of information for you, Arjun. Okay. to get to the professional level. All right. And Enoch79, email me as well so I can talk to you about technical presentation. I'd love to talk about how to give a technical presentation to where you literally get a standing ovation, because I've done that multiple times in internship, in research conferences, IEEE conferences like the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in 2017, no, 2013, um, at different conferences. I have some published papers at conferences. Look me up, Kirsch Mackey, IEEE. You can look at my papers. I'm new too, graduating student. Ah, excellent. Okay, Matt. Oh, I would take you for like a graduate student. You seem pretty on it. Okay, so that I don't belabor the presentation too long, I do have something that I want to announce. That if you stay to the end of it, I have a special announcement for you. So I'm really appreciative. Thank you again for being on here and interacting. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, so I would say that special secret number 4 is that you can bypass and shortcut all this bunch of job application nonsense, man. It's the black hole. There's a method and system you could use. That is the get through the application tracking system using special methods. Google how to get through the application tracking system. The information is out there. It's just that we're not taught this thing. The, um, Getting through the brain hack to for search engine optimization. Well, okay, reverse engineering the job description to make sure your resume is on point with the top 6 skills that they mentioned with your top 6 skills. They have to match though. Don't be lying on the resume, okay? Don't embellish stuff, okay? And then, but there's also a special method that I teach through my coaching, my training, my one-on-ones that are specifically tailored to you. So that's sort of like my secret sauce right there. But then you also want to what to say when you actually talk to these recruiters, because once you do that and you fix up your profiles and everything and start showing off your projects so it's big and bold in the face and is your profile is search engine optimized, you're going to start helping people reaching out. There are type A recruiters, type B recruiters, and type C recruiters. Okay, and I talk about them in my special one-on-ones. Okay, you want to stay away from type C recruiters. You can work with type B recruiters, but don't expect too much from them. You really want is type A recruiters. Okay, I learned this the hard way. Oh man, I learned this the hard way. All right, but now I don't remember the last time I had to apply to the job. Okay, Kirsch, unfortunately I can't find your email. Is it kirsch@hasofu.com? Yeah, it's kirsch@hasofu.com. And I'll put it in the description for this video below. There may be a description in the video right now, I don't know. But once it's done, once this live broadcast is done, you'll have my email and important links in the description for this video. So now the last part of the special secret number 4 with getting more applications where the recruiters are actually emailing you. I'm pretty sure I have my LinkedIn profile set to not looking for opportunities. The recruiters are still getting to me somehow. Okay. That's the problem you want to have, right? If you're not having that already, that's the problem you want to have. Okay. Then there's the interview. What to say in the interview? How to let your personality shine. Because engineers, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of engineers are awkward. I'm awkward, and stuff like that. And I'm actually an introvert. So people, when I tell them that, they say, "Oh, you don't seem like an introvert." I'm an introvert. Okay, I like my alone time. This whole situation with having to stay indoors this is beautiful for me because I don't get interrupted. I can do my thing. I can focus. I can study. Oh, hello, Benjamin. Oh, Benjamin. Okay, hey. He said, Julio, do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you, Benjamin. Benjamin is an expert power electronics designer in South America, I believe, right? And so, yeah, man, I got Benjamin's reviews up on my website. Picture may look a little different, but All right. So thank you, Benjamin, for joining in on the presentation here. Glad to see you. Now, here's the thing. What's the next stage after that? What do you say in the interview? So I do interview coaching as well. I sucked at interviews, man. I blew, I don't know how many interviews I demolished just by being weird and just like not knowing what to say and not knowing. Man. But now I don't knock interviews out the park. I feel like if I knocked them out the park, I'd be getting job offers all the time. Um, but you can't win all of them. You can't even win the majority of them because there are people probably who interview just as good or better than you do, who have more experience, who might be more likable. Like you can't win against a all around better, uh, competitors. Okay, but um, but you can maximize the opportunities you do get. So that when you have an offer that's meant for you, let me tell you, I had a job offer when I went to last year. I had a job offer for a very powerful power company, power systems company, and utility. Very good, looked great on paper. Went to them, they flew me out. I thought I didn't do quite as good as the interview, but at that point, I didn't care anymore. We just had a nice conversation. In 4 days, I had a job offer. And they said it might take a week. In 4 days, I had a job offer. Here's the thing: those 4 days, I I happened to within the 4 days, I got a call on a Monday waiting for their feedback. Okay, so it's not for maybe 6 days because I went on the Thursday, and then the following Tuesday evening, I had an offer. Anyway, Monday, I got a call from a different organization, and they say, "Hey, we just have a nice little conversation." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure, you could do that." Because I don't know if I really, it just seems like it's a good opportunity. I thought I was good with the offer with the first company. Then the second company, they were like, "Hey, okay." I say, the next day I say, "Oh, I have an offer." The second recruiter talked to me. He said, "Hey, okay, look, what would it take for you to show up on like for an interview on Thursday?" I'm like, "But I got an offer though. I mean, I guess I could do that." And he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna try to make it hard." There were certain things I said in the conversation to where, plus they were looking for someone. Um, and this might be an anomaly, but I'm just saying, I think I played my cards right. Um, because they saw my experience with Cadence Orcad, and because they saw I had some PCB design experience, and I was an all-round jack of all trades. That's another secret I need to tell you about. But anyway, I was perfect for the opportunity. I went in an interview. I had another phone call on a Thursday. Had a phone interview that Friday morning. Left work because I was like, you know what? Let me leave work. Went and did the in-person interview with three of the engineers. And in an hour and a half after I left, I had a job offer that paid me more than, no, 20 grand more than the first offer per annum. But that's a 12-month contract role, right? A phone call into an offer in 1 week. The first recruiter didn't believe me. He said, "Nah, you had this in your back pocket. I don't want to work with you anymore because I think that's what you did." I said, "No, like I don't play that game like that." Apparently, but here's the thing: the power of authenticity. That's another principle that I use. There's a strong power in authenticity. Hi everyone, and a special thanks, Kurt, for sharing your knowledge of PCB design. Marco uh, Ludovic. Okay, thank you, Marco. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Benjamin and Daniel and Debs, Badvidas, Arjun. Really appreciate it. Hi, Danielle. Daniel. Okay. There's a power of authenticity. And I'm gonna be. Don't worry about not having notes. You could take notes, of course, but I'm gonna put this in the PDF that is taking forever because I keep adding stuff. But I'll have it somewhere in a link. And so anyway, this whole system. This whole thing is a new system, a new way to get recruiters to come to you instead of you just shooting out applications all over the place and hearing nothing back. Okay. All right. So that's special secret number 4. You don't have to play that long game, the long, painful game of a bunch of applications. Special secrets number 1 through 3. You don't need to play the long game, pay your dues, however many 5, 10 years to be a pro at PCB design. No, you can use ultra learning methods, super speed learning methods. I'm a natural ultra learner, but even if you don't use ultra learning method, you could do it in 6 months. You could do it in 3 months. If you follow the blueprint, follow the roadmap. This is going to answer the question from Arjun, right? If you're a beginner, follow this roadmap. Go to these links in the PDF. Use the strategy and the method. Be focused and consistent. You'll be amazed at what you do in 3 months. Okay, 6 months, and you could be making 100 grand or more a year, depending on which company you work at. Okay, quick question from Enoch. What is your opinion regarding PCB design and chip designing? Oh, I see. In your opinion, which one of these two will dominate the market in 10 years? Okay, so for right now, for what I'm seeing from actual companies who've reached out to me, if you have some skill in chip designing, especially with doing signal integrity analysis, if you have knowledge of that, go into that, because that's just my intuition. I don't have numbers to prove that. All I'm saying is certain companies reached out to me to say, hey, do you have chip design? These are no small time companies. Do you have chip design experience and signal integrity analysis in the chip design, right? That's what they're looking for. That's what certain companies are looking for. So if you have knowledge and theory about, and some solid knowledge about it already, get on it quick, brush up, and get in that. Why? ASIC is becoming a thing. Okay, ASIC chip design is becoming a thing. Certain organizations are trying to work with their own chips. Okay, now here's the thing. Like someone told me, I was on a call with someone who I teach Allegro to. Right, I coach Allegro. I've been coaching them in Allegro for the last, or Orcad for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now. I can't remember. And he he mentioned something profound that he heard from someone else, his friend. When the gold rush was happening, the people who wanted the gold, who were looking for the gold, they weren't the ones. I mean, they made a lot of money once they got the gold and sold it. But the people who sold the tools to mine for the gold made the most money, right? So why do I say that? The reason I'm saying that is because once you're getting the ASIC design and chip design and all that stuff the that enable the new technology with these extra brain and chip power and everything like that, once you can do that, you're a fundamental critical person or engineer that can help companies put whatever chips they want, because there are PCB designers aplenty. I mean, okay, let me take that back. There are plenty enough such that it's easy enough to go, if you have the money, we'll drop some money on a professional 20-year, 30-year veteran of PCB design, get that board done up real quick. ASIC and chip design, I don't know. I haven't done the numbers. Okay. But I highly recommend you stay on the call, because I will go through your training and a special announcement that you're going to want to be on here for. Okay. As far as the 10 years, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you as far as 10 years. I think there's going to be people who are really good at chip design and that can hold algorithms for machine learning and fast processing. So if you can design graphics cards and chip design, then there's going to be a convergence of hardware, chip design, and data scientists and machine learning people. Luckily, I'm in both those spaces: machine learning and data science, and hardware design. Chip design, I'm not in. I don't know. Okay, but I would say do some research on it. I'm not expert enough to know to give you a definitive answer. That is just my gut feeling. So, but thank you for that question, Enoch. You're welcome. All right. So as far as the actual, I did say I'm going to talk about a little bit of high-speed training. This is going to be a quick crash course in the high speed. Here's some fundamental things you need to know about PCB design. Okay. When you get to PCB designing, hopefully you can see this. When you get to PCB designing and you're working with 2 layers of copper, let's change that color there, and you get your 2 layers of copper or whatever, right? When you get with a 2-layer board, that's basic. Everyone knows how to do the 2-layer board. What you need to do, and what I highly recommend, is that you get into the theory of why a 4-layer board stack up is important. Why do we do the ground on the second layer, the signal layers on the top layer, and the VCC on the second and last layer, and the signal layers on the bottom layer? Okay, the signal layers would run vertically on the top layer and the signal layers on the bottom layer would run horizontally. Why do you do that? Yes, I'm doing some EMI education because a lot of people in my online course, I mean, I guess you could call it small signals enough, but these are mostly. You're asking if that's the reason. No, actually, the reason is because why they. Well, I hope I understand your question. All right, the reason is because if we study electromagnetics, if we go back to our electromagnetics, wow, okay, my thing is freaking out. All right, the reason is because do you have these traces? Okay, that's my eraser. These traces, when they have a current going through them, you apply the right hand rule. They emit um, they emit an electromagnetic field. They emit a magnetic field. Depending on how close another piece of copper is to that trace, it's going to induce current onto the trace. These boards can get pretty thin, right? If you have one trace that emits a magnetic field, and then you have another trace nearby, this magnetic field, once it runs into this, is going to induce a current on there, right? It's going to induce a current. Hopefully, you can see that well. That goes in some direction. This current, when it goes in a particular direction, is going to induce its own magnetic field back onto this other trace, and then it's going to do another current. Depending on the signals that are going through these different traces, you're going to have communication crossing. Let's say you're trying to send some data in one direction on here and some other data on in this direction over here. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to get crosstalk. That's where crosstalk comes from because of the magnetic coupling. And this magnetic coupling causes an inductance to show up and appear, an additional inductance to appear on the trace, which then impedes some of the signal, so it sort of cancels out. But you don't want to have that. But so this can become a problem because then you can have cross communication that you don't want. So instead of having traces on the bottom layer run parallel or to the traces on the top, usually they're very close, thin layers of PCB. We want to minimize that possibility of cross communication or crosstalk, so we put them horizontally. Why? Because when we have a magnetic field when the trace is going this way instead, the magnetic field, if it's going, this is terrible. Um, let's use a bigger eraser here. And this is pretty small, so let me clear this board. Right? So maybe I use black or whatever. Okay, so if we have the trace and it's emitting a magnetic field, and instead of another trace going this way, we have a different trace going this direction. Now that's a good point, Enoth. If you have certain currents going in this direction and certain going in this direction, you might be lucky enough to have some cancellation, so the coupling is not as bad if they're both on the top layer. If they're both on the bottom, if they're one is on the top layer, one is at the bottom layer, and this is trying to see like this signal that sends the initial current tries to come back through a signal path, which it always does, a return path, then we're going to have some potential crosstalk across a trace that's parallel with that. If we do a trace that is horizontal, is orthogonal to that, or to the trace on the top or on the side or whatever, I mean, of course, it's not going to be on the side, but on top of it, then this field is not going to couple properly with this trace. So it's not that it cancels, it's just that there's the magnetic coupling it has no effect because it's orthogonal to the trace essentially on the bottom layer. This is going to be on the bottom layer. So let me draw this again. We have the trace on the top layer and a trace on the bottom layer. And then the coupling just doesn't happen according to the right-hand rule. You have to brush off your Maxwell's equations books or your Emacs books or whatever and look at it. But put those two traces between them and yeah, there we go, Enoth. There you go. Great point. The sine x between them. Great. Wow. Something new learned now. Yeah. So, because see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you here's what I'm talking about in the first secrets, right? The first three secrets. I didn't notice when I was taught and saw from example that you need to run your traces vertically on the top and horizontally on the bottom. And I especially wouldn't know to do this if I got needed to do a 4 layer or a 6 layer PCB. Oh, thank you, Enoch. I especially wouldn't notice if I'm trying to do a 6 or 8 layer PCB because I didn't know why I would do this. I'd be like, okay, I guess I'll alternate the vertical and the horizontal routing, you know, um, for whatever reason. But when it's explained, once the theory is explained, so this would be considered a rule of thumb. Let's call it a ROT, rule of thumb. If you've seen any rule of thumb PDF or guide for PCB design, it has a million rules of thumb. Okay, where do these rules of thumb come from? They come from electromagnetic phenomena and how those interact. The whole field of this is called signal integrity. I've gone very far too long for this presentation, and I need to spend the last few minutes making my big announcement. Signal integrity. This is very important. Signal integrity is the basis for the creation of these rules of thumb. This is the governing thing when it comes to how to lay out PCBs. Okay? The rules of thumb come from the principles of signal integrity. So that's as much as I'm going to teach on that. I want to make it a major announcement. So here's the thing. If you take the PDF and roadmap, right, you can learn that I'm going to give to you. You can learn all this stuff in record time in a year and be good at it and lay out a 6 layer printed circuit board, lay out an 8 layer printed circuit board. Because once you know the fundamental principles, I haven't even gone to PCB layer stack up. I have to do that in another video because I don't want to spend too much time on this, guys. You already spent an hour with me, which is a lot of time. And I'm not going to take any more of your time. We can do another video sometime. But there's an announcement I want to make. So anyway, the point I'm making is once you go through this PDF and go through the steps and go to the links that are in there and the resources, it's a systemized approach to learning what you need to learn to lay out 4 layer, 6 layer, 8 layer PCBs. Because you understand the theory, you know where the rules of thumb come from. Once you understand how it's supposed to work, you don't have to remember certain things, a lot of certain things, in order to lay out your PCB. That's the point. You don't have to learn and remember so much because you understand certain things. You can see if something's just like an equation, right? Force equals mass divided by acceleration. Okay, I'm pausing here because for those of you who have an intuitive understanding of that, now maybe you just memorize it because you've done it so much in exams, but does that make sense? If mass is, how can mass be divided by an acceleration? So that can't be force. Even if you don't remember the equation, does it make sense? It doesn't. So if you have a mass that is accelerating, you know it's going to exert a force when it impacts something. Because you understand and have an intuitive understanding of how this thing is supposed to work, you can know if an equation is false or correct. Or that's the thing. Once you understand signal integrity, you can know if a rule of thumb applies to a certain situation or if it doesn't apply to a certain situation when it comes to laying out your printed circuit board. That's the point. So this PDF is going to guide you to where you can gain those skills that typically you fail to in trial and error and get from osmosis and stuff like that from experience. You pick that up in a fourth of the time. It is called a Manhattan routing, or am I wrong? Can I make a question related to separate grounds? Yes, but I'm going to save that for the end once I make this announcement. So here's the announcement. I'm going to answer your question. And then after I make the announcement, feel free for anyone to leave, or you can stay if you want. But here's the announcement. So while it can take you a year or even less if you're dedicated to become really good at PCB designs, where you could actually land a 130K plus job with certain companies, you could literally do that in a year, maybe less, with this map, this roadmap, and just do the steps. This is what I would teach myself if I knew. And also the resume stuff and the job stuff, it's a system. It's the new way to do job hunting. Okay, if you want to switch jobs, if you want to get a new job or whatever because you got fired or whatever, it's the new way to do job hunting. This is the whole process to get from 0 to 100K, 100 plus K in a year, a little over a year. Less if you're more ambitious. 3 months if you're super ambitious. Here's the thing, though. Um, if you don't want to take that long, I have actually been working on a program to help you get from 0 to hero. You know nothing about printed circuit board design. Now here's the thing. You need to have some idea about electromagnetic theory. All right. You need to have some idea. You need ideally you would have an electrical or electronics engineering degree. You need to have at least passed physics and calculus 2 and circuits 1 and circuits 2. Okay. And you need to know, yes, your KCL and KVL. Please new with PCB. Where should I start with? Where should you start with, Daniel? Absolutely, I got you. If you're new to PCB, completely new to PCB design, I got you. I got the PDF coming. I just need to add all the stuff that I've been talking about into it. Now, where you could start doing this, you can do all this stuff on your own, right? With that PDF. And, there you go. You buy some books, you buy the right books, you do the right things, you do the right steps, you be diligent. In a year's time, you're going to be making 130 grand a year with this PDF if you get in with the right company. And that's not even it. That's just the job. I'm not even talking about the fact that I was able to, just because somebody became aware of me and they knew that I work with Altium now, I've been able to to earn income in addition to the regular job, right? You can freelance as a professional. Show people reach out to you, so you earn even more on income on top of your regular income, right? So while that's all possible and doable, there is something I want to tell you that it doesn't even have to take that long. It doesn't even have to take a year. How would it? How would you feel if there were a program that took you from having zero knowledge of PCB design? You have some knowledge of KVL, KCL, some electronics and stuff like that, so you need to know those fundamentals. Um, what if you had someone who would take you from zero to uh, laying out your 6-layer printed circuit board design, laying out 4-layer printed circuit board design, power electronics, knowing how to, and a 2-layer printed circuit board design, and knowing how to do all that in 3 months or less, right? And to where you could look at a 2-layer printed circuit board and you could laugh at the PCB and say, of course, yeah, of course I know how to design a PCB. A 4-layer, then no problem, piece of cake. 6-layer high-speed design, okay, I have to think about this a little, but I actually have some confidence to say I can do this in Cadence Allegro, well, Cadence Orcad, no less, which is pretty much Allegro anyway. Yeah. Okay, what if I told you somebody could hold your hand, literally walk you through that stuff, and have you in that level where people are actually paying you money, $50 an hour, $45 an hour, maybe $65 an hour. You command the price to solve the problem for them because they don't know how to design their own boards, but they need the stuff done, right? What if you could do that in 3 months? Okay, from zero. Well, I want to talk to you about this thing that I put together that is starting tomorrow, actually. It is a program that I've been sitting on for a while. And by a while, I'm talking about like 2 years now. And I finally got off my butt to put it together. Oh, Enoch, guys, to be honest, without Kirsch, I will not be able today to graduate. My professor just told me to design a PCB with Cadence, and Kirsch was the guy that really helped me. He is indeed very well, thank you, Enoch. Wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And if you have questions, I'm gonna be answering your questions. I have an extra 30 minutes or an hour. If you have questions, you can ask me anything you want. We could even continue the training. I just need want to get this announcement out before everybody goes while I still have you here because I know you get stuff to do. So what I'm doing So what I'm starting tomorrow actually is a program just like that. So let me give you a breakdown of what is in the program. Okay. Now you may think I'm a little crazy with this, but here's what's in the program. Zero. First, once you get in the program, right? I welcome you. We do a nice little chit chat. I get an idea what your goals are. Okay, you get an idea what your goals are, and then the second thing is after the welcome, you get a lay of the land of the roadmap to PCB design. So there's the PCB design roadmap. Let's just say RM roadmap. And this is so you know everything you need to learn or know. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to give you this roadmap after this video is over. This is so bright. Anyway, I'm going to give that to you. Maybe it's this light over here. I'm not sure. I'll be a little dark probably, but hopefully you can see it better. Um, so you could do this on your own. You have the steps, you have the books, you have the resources. You get them. You'll be able to do this on your own. I'm just saying, if you want to do it in 3 months, or less. Okay, David said 245 degrees. Oh, okay, I see. So something more like this, maybe? I'm not sure on which axis to put it in. I'm bad with this. I'm bad with this kind of stuff, honestly. Like dealing with the reflection. I'll just okay, cool. Hopefully that's good. So that's the roadmap, which you will be getting. Two. Oh, and at the beginning, we do an assessment of where you're at and where you want to go, because you can go on entrepreneurship with this stuff. You could design your own stuff towards you, not so way. Oh, okay. So if I set my canvas, my background color to a different one, probably like maybe something like that. I changed the color a little bit. Hopefully that's better. Great, thank you, David. David saving my life right here. Okay. um, and so this is the welcome. We do an assessment of where you're at and where you want to be. Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you could do that. All you need is a skill. All you need is a skill. You can make bread. Okay, you can make money with this skill and the right. So now, if you're trying to get a job that pays you 100 plus grand a year, or at least 20 grand more than what you're making now, um, maybe you're a little over 100 grand a year. Maybe you're well in 100. Who knows? You can at least add this to your skill set and be even more valuable. Make them really want to keep you um, by adding the skill set. So what point am I? Oh, right. Module number two. Module number two is how PCBs are laid out. So this is the process. We go through the process, and then what do? We don't just learn about the theory of the process. Most programs, okay, anyway, I won't go there yet. The process, we lay out the blue pill. Now, people, if you're in the PCB design space, you know about the STM32 blue pill. If you don't, that's fine. There's a lot of PCBs out there. You're going to lay that out to understand the process. Module three, or now I'll just say project. Now that's the whole process in Orcad. All right, Orcad Capture. No simulation because we're not going to simulate. But the PCB layout, the different steps and layers, how to send out your Gerber files. If you want a board fabricated, you get it fabricated. Assemble, we do how to do the pick and place assembly, all the steps, right? And here's the thing: this isn't some pie in the sky stuff that I'm pulling out my head. We'll actually be using like actual books from veteran engineers. So I'm not a veteran PCB designer, but I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm not a veteran. So we'll be using books from veterans, right? The Hitchhiker's Guide to PCB Design, Complete PCB Design by Craig Mitzner. Okay, so this isn't does he really know what he's talking about? I don't, okay, this is my personal experience, tips and tricks that they don't include in their books, plus their experience. Okay, so you're good. Project number two, we're going to learn about design for manufacturing, or DFM. DFM is important because no matter how great an idea you have for a PCB, It doesn't matter if it can't be manufactured. I personally ran into this issue. If you get my free secrets, my 7 secrets PDF, I explained the story of why I learned how design for manufacture was so important and design for assembly. And we're going to do the Arduino Uno. You're going to lay out an Arduino Uno. Let's call it Rev 4. Because we're going to make slight modifications, but you learn how to do multi-page schematic. Okay. Oh, you say way better. Okay. Multi-page schematics, flat level multi-page schematics, doing DRC, design rule check. We get a little more into schematic. We get a little more into the fundamentals of design for manufacturing, the design for assembly, for PCB layout. So we're going through the process again. See, we're stacking it. I believe in not just fire. I don't know if it's called fire hosing you or whatever it's called, fire hydrant, whatever. Um, education, because you're not going to get the stuff that way. We do it in layers. So layers, right? PCB. That's corny. All right. The blue pill project, you learned, we focus on the process, mastering the process. Of course, you're not going to master it right here. That's why we don't do just one project. And am I a sadist? Maybe. Okay. Do I like to torture people? Maybe a little. But there's a method to this madness. We learn in the layers. The second layer is the second project, project 2, the design for manufacturing and design for assembly, Arduino Uno Rev 4. And then module 4, we have project number 3. Project number 3, Kirsch. Why are you trying to do a whole 3 projects? We only need to lay out one PCB to get the point, probably, right? No, we're doing 3 projects, man. Okay, we're doing 3 projects. Okay, and guess what this is going to be? This is going to be a buck boost converter for PV solar to battery charging. Yeah, some practical stuff, man. You make your own battery charger off the solar panel. And then what we do here, what are we focusing on here? Why would we do this project? Just so you get some power electronics practice and fundamentals, right? You understand the importance of power and switching losses. You understand the importance of Monte Carlo analysis and other forms of simulation determine your product yield and also failure points in your switch mode power supply design, because how it can operate, how much power it's going to need. You need to know about power. And then when it comes to the layout phase, I should probably be drawing boxes. Let me clear this. Let me clear this canvas. Right? We're going to be dealing with power. Understanding that on the simulation level, this is where you become a boss at PSpice. You want to become a boss at layout, or just maybe dip your toes in, dip your foot in the water for the layout process for the blue pill. Project number 2, you become more comfortable with the layout process, but you want to make sure your PCB actually can be assembled in the automation on an automated factory, because you don't want to be laughed at if your parts are tombstoning and then the people need to hand solder the board and spend an extra $20-$30 per board just to get the thing done. No. Now that you understand the layout process twice, and you know how to place your parts to where they can handle the wave soldering and different solder techniques and can actually be assembled, we're focusing on the power, component yield, stuff like that. That's the third project. And also an actual practical, they're all practical. And then this module 5, project number 4. Kirsch, you said you have 3 projects. There's 4 projects in this program. I know I said 3, but it's actually 4 projects. I lied. There is the Beaglebone Black. Now, hopefully y'all know about the Beaglebone Black. This is a popular 6-layer printed circuit board that is like the Raspberry Pi, but more powerful. Runs actual operating system, has a little bit of DDR memory. I think it's DDR. I should probably know it's DDR2. Anyways, DDR. And it's 6 layers and it's got some high-speed signals on there. High-speed, we're going to be doing high-speed design. But in addition to high-speed design, we're going to be doing signal integrity. But before we even get to the layout signal integrity, that's what everybody's asking about. Hey, just do high-speed signal integrity. Yes, that's the whole thing. Um, why am I doing it in 4 projects? I'll reveal the real reason in the end in a second. First of all, is to teach you in layers, so that we're not focused on layout and like, oh, well, where do I go here and and also we're not focused on tools, how to use the Orcad software, because by the time you reach your 4th project, you're going to be pretty comfortable. You should be pretty comfortable with the schematic side and a little bit of the PCB side, but definitely the PCB layout side. We don't want to be worrying about how do we use the PCB software, the PCB editor, when we need to focus on electromagnetic theory. So high speed. This is what's going to get you to. This is what's going to take you from 85K or 65K to 100K. High speed. So we're going to be doing actual signal integrity simulations in the software. That's becoming more and more of a thing, especially with Internet of Things and stuff like that. Boards are becoming more and more high speed. In about 2 years or less, I don't know. I'm just saying this out of my head, okay, off the top of the head. But high speed is becoming the new norm. So, we're gonna need to be caught up. You don't want to be behind when it becomes the new norm, right? Internet of Things is starting to boom. We're getting that merger between the Internet of Things and data. Your data points are only as good as your sensors. Your sensors are only good as how well you layer your PCB. How well you layer your PCB is only as good as your signal integrity knowledge and experience. Okay, so Beaglebone Black. Why am I doing boards that? Oh, just as a note, these boards have schematics and PCBs that are out there that you can straight up copy and get it fabricated, and it works. Why would I have you copy designs? It's a principle special secret number 3. If you're starting out and you're not that experienced, you're not a veteran or whatever, copy the designs. But here's the thing, if you don't know what you're doing and you copy the designs, that doesn't benefit you except to learn the software tool, which is fine. A lot of people are looking for cadence. Like the majority of market is looking for cadence experience. If you learn first, oh, you're welcome, devs. And fundamental custom work, we will get to the custom work. Now, my belief and from the experience, don't mess with custom work unless you're actually good at what you're doing. That's just from my personal experience. You could do it, you could try it, but why if you're learning? Just make it easier on yourself. Copy some designs. Once you know why they work, that's important. And once you know how to do it for some industry standards, that's another thing I forgot. We're going to be incorporating some industry standards here. So IPC, a little bit of UL standards and certification stuff. Not that you'll be certified in those things. I'm just saying I'll teach you such that you're aware of these standards and we design close enough to them by the final design. And Debs K, you gave me so much hope for my career prospects. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, see, once you know how to do the PCB design combines so much of the theory of electrical and electronics engineering. It's crazy. And you build a product that you can then sell and make money off of. Like, there's not even a skill you could make money off of. You could literally build the product and make money. You're designing technology that people want, smartwatches. I mean, there's infinite possibilities. And on top of that, if you have a mind, let me just tell you right now, if you have a mind for doing schematics and PCB layout and applying these rules, even electrical and electronics engineering, you have a mind for logic and analysis. There's another program I'm probably going to release later this year because I like programming. I'm good at it. It comes naturally to me. I've been programming since 2007. I worked as a software engineer before for a year in Python. I worked in C and anyway, if you understand how your brain also, if you can do this, also allows you to do programming once you get it. A lot of you are already programmers. I know that. But once you get the link, man, it'd be like second nature to you. But I won't even get into that. So thank you, Debs. I'm glad that this is helping and inspiring you. Beaglebone Black. If you want in the program, we get the boards fabricated. I'll give you a coupon to get your boards fabricated. So with your own name, your and everything, and your own company name or whatever, and it comes back and say, "Hey, I did this." Put it on your portfolio. Here's the thing: these are made by Texas Instruments. If I lay these out and I lay out a Beaglebone Black, who cares if the design was already done before? Who gives a? I mean, who cares? You know how to lay out a 6-layer PCB. And here's the thing: once you learn the fundamental principle of why we do why the electromagnetic theory and EMI about PCB stack up, if you know how to do a 6-layer PCB, which you'll know how to do here with the Beaglebone Black, you'll know how to do an 8-layer PCB, how to do a 10-layer PCB, and how to do a 12-layer, because there's only about 4 rules. There's only about 4 principles based on physics that you need to know in order to, and then it's your strategy and how you apply it that determines the number of layers you want to use. That's the thing. You don't have to remember how many layers do I use to do this? How many layers do I do? Where do I put this plane? No, you don't have to remember that stuff because you understand the theory. That's this. We're working the other way. We're working applied theory is power. Okay, forget rules of thumb. This generates, once you know what generates the rules of thumb, you don't have to remember the rules of thumb. You can create new rules. This is what we're teaching right here. Okay. I mean, not in this thing right here. What I'm saying, we did a little bit of that with the crosstalk, but I'm saying in the program, I want you to go from remembering rules to generating rules. So you could innovate PCBs, you could innovate products. Okay, but you need to learn the skills first before you customize. That's what I recommend. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything I say. This is what I recommend. I'm just saying, hey. 4 projects. Now, is there a 5th project? No, there's not a 5th project. Okay. I lied. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, there's 4 projects. And that's going to be a PCB layer stack up because I want you, and once you get to that level, that's what we're going to do. Now, there are 3 major bonuses with this program. I'm closing up soon. If you have some place to go, please bear with me. I'll wrap this up in 8 minutes. Bonus number 1. There's 3 major bonuses that come with this program. Bonus number 1 is the complete, I'll just abbreviate it, the complete job hunting mastery program or whatever. It's the exact same methods I use to land that job offer from a phone call on a Monday to a job offer that same Friday that was better than my previous offer that I got in 6 days after the interview. In 2 completely different industries. One was for electrical systems engineering with some hardware reviews and designs, the whole shebang, everything. And the other one is the power systems because I work as a power systems engineer. And you can look at my LinkedIn profile. It has the stuff there at Orcad. That's what I teach you. Go from depressed to hired. Okay. Of course, there's no guarantee you'll get hired. Well, all I'm just telling you is I'm going to increase your chances by 100% or more, because that's what I had to do with myself over the course of 6.5 years, right? The hard stuff I had to learn. They don't teach you this stuff in college. They don't even, and a lot of the articles out there, they don't teach you the real stuff, man. Like it's depressing. But anyway, this whole program, if you need it, if you care to have it, right? This is the bonus that comes with it. If here's the thing, now let me be clear. I haven't made these modules. I'll be teaching the stuff live. Now, what does that mean? You have to wait for stuff to come out when we actually do the lectures. Now, I like to jump in and do stuff immediately. I like to go around and do my stuff, pick out what I want to do. Maybe I jump straight to the signal integrity or whatever, the high-speed design. But this is for my final release of the program later this summer. This is the alpha launch of the program. But what I think is important, what I know is important, with having trained 250 plus undergraduate senior design students, in Allegro and in some aspects of PCB design, especially, along with my coach, who was a veteran of PCB design and stuff I picked up from him. It makes a huge difference once you teach real time. You just can't catch the stuff with recorded videos. It doesn't work. I have courses online. If you want to do my online courses on Udemy and LinkedIn, you could do those. Those are accessible and everything. You get you through the basics. But when it comes to like the complicated stuff, there's no comparison for the one-on-one. um, and I charge some good money for the one-on-one. Okay, so I mean by good money, I mean it's expensive for the person paying, but it's not too expensive. It's reasonable. So that's the job thing. I took too long on that. Bonus number two. Um, and just tell me to be quiet and hurry up and move on when I take too long, please. I get crazy. So there's the complete resume system. We'll redo your resume. If I Even if you have a job, I know your resume needs work. My resume needs some work to keep it fresh and up to date. I know the resume needs work. Get your LinkedIn. Let's get your LinkedIn right. Let's get your online profile right to where even at your job, you're going to be fighting off recruiters. You may have this problem already. That's a good problem to have. If you want to increase that problem, I can help you. um, how to negotiate with the power of authenticity. I call it the power of authenticity. I don't know if it's and techniques, covert, subtle communication and tactics. This stuff I learned from uh, personal experience, and anyway, I'll leave it at that. Bonus number two. This won't guarantee you'll get a significantly higher paying job. I'm just saying it's the best thing that's gonna work for you, probably, because this is real stuff, right? Bonus number two is the cheat sheet. I want to say cheat sheet Bible, but let's call it the cheat sheet book because I don't want to offend or whatever people, religious things, ideologies, or whatever. So the cheat sheet book, let's call it that for right now. It's not as attractive of a name, but I haven't thought of anything more attractive. This is where you don't have to watch the videos. Oh, by the way, it's live coaching, but the videos with the questions get recorded. So even if you miss the coaching real time, you could watch the replay video and you could still ask questions and I'll answer your questions. Just if you were enrolled in my Udemy course and on my LinkedIn, even when you cold email me, unless I'm crazy busy, I answer your questions. You know how I do it. And I'm not even getting paid extra for that stuff. So you know how I operate. I try to help you out. So cheat sheet book where you literally don't even have to go back to the videos to get your quick reference on how to do the layout in Orcad. I'll lay that out. Now I'll be super busy with the material for this course, so this is probably not going to come to the end of the program, but you'll get it. Bonus number three, and this is for each of the this will purely be for the Beaglebone project since it encapsulate all of the stuff. Bonus number three. Bonus number three is the man, I forgot. Oh, I could just read it off for here because I'm looking at my program. Okay, bonus number three. PCB footprints and part librarian mastery. Go from beginner to expert in footprint creation. Here's the thing. Even though we're not mechanical engineers, we need to know how to design footprints and Orcad and capture and symbols, schematic symbols in Orcad. And I'm not talking about just any old footprint. I'm talking about IPC compliant footprints. Okay, that in itself is a master class. That's 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 the whole master class. We're gonna be doing all the footprints. Should you choose to do this bonus, you have access to it at all times. But if you want to, you can go through it. I'm gonna have a video library that I'll be creating while teaching you throughout the program. You do it on our own time. You could be on live if you want, where I upload all the techniques I have ever learned to slowly, but also from the slowest technique to the fastest techniques to generate, copy, steal, borrow, um, and reproduce footprints from basic footprints to custom, weird, shape footprints, all in Orcad. Off this third bonus alone, you can become a PCB librarian. There are jobs for that. And those are the 3 bonus. But guess what? There's another bonus. There's bonus number 4. Lifelong bonus. I call it the lifelong bonus. Multiple hardware projects. I said this is going to take 10 minutes, so this should have been done by now, so I'm going to hurry up. Multiple hardware projects. What does that mean? Every PCB design this might sound a little crazy, but when you go through the reference designs that I mentioned on Texas Instruments website, my personal goal, I'm not going to get all of them, but my personal goal is to do a PCB design project for every major type of relevant, important hardware project, record my process, and put it in this bonus. That means that for my PhD that I'm working on right now, the 3-phase motor controller board that I'm doing for a novel motor, I'm doing a novel control. I'm a control systems person. And I'm going to build a board. I'm going to put that project that I'm going to release in a journal, some journal later this year. Hopefully they accept it. I'm going to put that project in this program, right? Record it and everything with as much documentation as possible. I'm going to put switch mode power supplies, because I started designing switch mode power supplies when I started with PCB design, the buck converter, the buck boost converter, the SEPIC, the flyback. You need to know the flyback converter. I wonder if I should make this buck boost project number 3 into a flyback instead. Anyway, know the flyback converter if you want to get into consumer electronics, especially at certain companies who do, the companies. 3-phase, yes. Isolation, yes. We have transformers on there. I also do non-isolated DC, low voltage DC. If it's low voltage, high voltage, I do the isolated projects. Multiple hardware projects. So do you know how many reference designs is on TI's website? Something north of 150. I'm not going to do 150 designs. I would if I had the time, but you at least going to be getting 10 projects in there over time, over the year. I said lifelong because once you buy the program, you have it for good. All the recordings. If I change the platform, I'll put you on a new platform. This isn't going to disappear or go away. Like how normal programs do, where they teach you one PCB design, you learn it, and it's like maybe they give you a book or something, and then you don't look at the book, or maybe you do use it as a reference, and that's it. No, you keep the videos, you keep whatever cheat sheets, you keep, and you see the new projects that are coming out, Internet of Things projects. Okay, special perks. There are 3 special perks, and I'll be done, I promise. Special perk number 1, private social network and weekly group question and answer. So it's not just, so first it'll be a group coaching, which starts tomorrow, where I go through the process on all the projects and stuff, and I lecture on stuff like that. If you'll ask me, hey, I'm going to ask you throughout, hey, do you get this? You'll be like, no, this wasn't quite right. I'll go and redo it. Detailed questions and stuff like that, I save for the end of the session, right? And I answer those. If I can't answer those on the spot, then or not in, it's going to take too long to answer them, then I'll upload videos and you get access to those question and answer videos. For the sessions, we're going to have separate sessions specifically for question and answer. Okay? Specifically for question and answer, because more questions are going to come up. I'll do my best to answer those. If I can't answer those at the time, we'll do more videos. So lots of videos are coming, And then there's the special perk number 2, individual coaching and office hours, right? In our office hours, it'll only be about 30 minutes a week for individual stuff that I'm going to guarantee. Now, for those of you who have been on calls with me, I say the meeting is 30 minutes and then it goes on an hour and 30 minutes because I'm bad with the time. So that's likely going to happen as well. I'm going to guarantee 30 minutes though. So don't be mad if the 30 minutes is up and I say, oh, I need to go, right? That's what I'll guarantee. Individual coaching, because every person's situation is different. You grow at different rates and stuff like that. You deal with different things. You can always email me anytime. I'm going to give top priority to the people in this program. There's an inside messaging portal. We could do that as well. I have a group set up where you could message me on WhatsApp. I be up at odd hours too. Sometimes I'm up at 2 a.m. Sometimes I'm up at 5 a.m. Sometimes I'm asleep at 10 a.m. Who knows? Um, Special perk, individual coaching at office hours. So that's the email stuff. Third perk is PCB Design Knowledge Portal. This is just where I post. Here's the thing: people who are in all my courses, and also on the YouTube channel. The reason I haven't been answering the questions that you just past week is because I've been doing a bunch of promotion, and I've been trying to set it up where when I create answers to your questions in the courses and videos or whatever, I try to make a video and then post it somewhere on maybe my Google Drive, my business Google Drive or whatever. And then I'm trying to link that to this site and have people who aren't enrolled to the program have access to that. But also allow you to have access to it. So I'm trying to figure that out, but you're going to have access to all the videos that people who are enrolled in the courses ask me answers to that. People who aren't enrolled in the courses, they're not going to have access to the videos. So you don't feel gypped that people who didn't enroll get access to the videos, right? Okay. But here's the thing. People who ask on my YouTube channel, you get access to those videos as well. And if I am going to respond to those YouTube questions on the YouTube channel and put them in blog posts for everyone to see. Now, maybe over time, I'll open up the knowledge portal to people who are non-enrolled, because the value in here is I'm trying to give you $20,000 in value for a $2,000 program. Oh, right, that goes to the price. So how much is the program? It is $2,000. It is $19.97. Here's the thing. That's for the launch of the program later this summer. But I'm doing a special for the beta launch. I'm going to cut that in half, 50%. You pay $9.97 for the program. You keep it forever. If you have a job and you're making, say, $40 an hour, you would think an electrical engineer could do this in his head. Geez, 1,000 divided by 40 is 25 hours of work at your job. Okay? So you spend 25 hours to make back the money for this program, and you gain the skill and access to all the projects on top of these other projects, and you gain the skills and the know-how to get a job that pays you 25 more grand per year. $9.97. I mean, even at $2,000, that's this. What? But here's the thing. I'm not even going to say $9.97. If you sign up today for the program that's going to start tomorrow, and you sign up within the next 2 hours, I'm going to cut that in half again, 75% off, $4.97. For 25 hours, when you're really busy, is a lot of time, right? But let's do 500 divided by 40 hours. Let's say $35 an hour, right? That's 14 hours. No, in fact, let's say $25 an hour. That's 20 hours. If you get paid $25 an hour, I know y'all people doing internships make about $30 an hour. If y'all doing the right internship, I know you make $30 an hour. But let's say you make 25. No. Let's take it down to my internship. Now, my teaching assistant job. I would need to work 27 hours at my old teaching assistant job when I was making less than 28 grand a year to pay off this program at $4.97. 27 hours. I could spend that time binge watching Game of Thrones, but actually we don't talk about Game of Thrones anymore, so forget I said that. They really messed up on that last season. Don't watch Game of Thrones. Anyway, so that's $4.97 to enroll in the program. But here's the thing. You may be like, man, Kirsch, I don't have that amount saved right now. Like, I don't really have that amount saved. And I wasn't prepared. You dropped this bomb on me. 2 hours. I can't even get that money up. Like, I can't make up $4.97 in 2 hours to enroll in the program. I mean, come on. This is out of the blue, Kirsch. Understandable. If you could prove to me that you're a student within before the program starts tomorrow, and you have your university email address, this is for students only. You can get in for 197. This is for students only who do not have a day job. And I can't prove that you don't have a day job because I'm not going to be looking at your social security number or anything like that. But if you're a student only, I get that you're struggling or whatever. If you're working though, you can get into 497. Okay. So 197 for the students, students only. Um, and it's going to be limited though. It's going to be limited. You're going to have access for 6 months, right? As a student, because 497 is already 75% off. I don't want it to, and people who get in for 497 today have the program forever. All upgrades, all improvements to the program forever for good. Um, and also, you get special access to new ECAD software that this program it gets retaught in. International student, and I'm doing this because I'm going to be releasing the program later this summer at 2 grand. International student, yes, yes. If you're an international student, as long as you're a student, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing. Here's a bit about my background. I'm from the Bahamas. We had no money. When I say no money, I mean I'm telling you, I couldn't even go to college in my home country if I didn't have. I needed 2 scholarships to go to college in my home country. Like we literally had $0 for. We could barely keep the all utilities on at the same time for more than a month for a long time. The only way I could go to college was through scholarships. Luckily, my grades were good. And then that was the College of the Bahamas. Then I transitioned to the University of Arkansas. Only on 3 separate scholarships was I able to do that. And I still had to work. And then when I get the refund check, I put that into my rent from some of the scholarships. That's how I made it through the rest of my bachelor's degree. International student, no green card, F1 student, everything. I couldn't do anything. I could only work on campus. Then the graduate school, thank you, 79. Then graduate school, same thing. I took 6 years to get my master's degree in electrical and electronics. I took 6 years to get my bachelor's degree because I was working all the time on campus, and we weren't making enough money. I wasn't making enough money, real money, to do anything because the rule was, first of all, you can't work more than 20 hours a week or 25, whatever the rule was, and on top of that, you could only work on campus. Um, and when you're doing research, if you're supposed to be doing research as a graduate student to get your master's degree in time, right? In 2 years, it took me 6 years. Yeah, I switched my topics twice, from power system to renewable energy to power systems back to power electronics. But I was also teaching. I taught circuits one, circuits two, electronics one, electronics two, microprocessor system design, and also senior design for 4 years, right? As a teaching assistant, while doing full course load graduate classes and needing to keep those grades up in power electronics and power systems. Um, but I did what I needed to do because that paid the tuition. And that's literally what paid the tuition and bills. If I couldn't do that, I would needed to go back home to my home country, right? I had no way to pay for college. I couldn't even get access to most of the scholarships because I wasn't a permanent resident. I didn't have a green card. And as an introvert with no network, um, and I was bad at communication. As an INTP, we're 3% of the U.S. population. We don't communicate. Elon Musk, he's okay. I won't say anything, but I'm just saying I was weird, man. Okay, so um, but at least I know I communicate now. And then similar thing with the PhD program. I got into the PhD program, very passionate. I have ideas, inventions I want to make. I personally do have inventions I want to make. I want to enable everybody to build the stuff they really want that's in their dreams to become reality. I want people to get six-figure jobs. If you're in this program, I don't want you to have no job that's less than six figures. We need to get you to six figures. Maybe you're already at six figures. I don't know. If you're a student, we're trying to get you to six figures and up. It's 2020. Okay, and we're engineers, electrical engineers, the best engineering. I'm just kidding. Not really. I like it. I think it's one of the best. And so, and thank you. Deb say seven figures. We're gonna go figures. Entrepreneurship, man. We're gonna be in the six-figure club. Then we go to the seven-figure club. Okay? It's not out of reach. What if you make or invent something that changes the game, man? You could be the next Steve Wozniak, right? Once you go through this gauntlet and this process to get recruiters to be jumping at you and hiring managers to say, "Hey, I know you work at where you're working now, but let's talk anyway." That's my reality. They're like, "Oh, okay, you work there. So how soon can you get on a call?" I'm like, okay, I guess we could talk, but I'm not open for opportunities though. And they're like, okay, well, let's talk. This is my reality. I'm just telling you. I'm not. I could show you the emails. Okay. So once you gain the skills, and I haven't even talked about the entrepreneurship program that I'm trying to put in there. I'm part of certain groups where there are actual hardware design entrepreneurs who have 15, 20 years of experience, and they are designing their own hardware to make money. You probably know about John Teal, his hardware engineering program. I mean, it's not a pro; it's a hardware academy to where he teaches you some things in there. It's tailored to what entrepreneurs. I got the connects, man. Okay. So, and it also, if you're trying to get a job, I have a bunch of connections. People literally send me jobs every week personally to my email, and you know they're like, "Hey, we're looking for people. Can you do this?" I'm like, "I'm not going to because I'm busy." Um, but I don't have people like that who are electrical engineering. Like, anyway, I've talked too much about this. This is way too long. That's the program. Thank you, Debs. Yeah, seven figures, and that's not even an exaggeration. Technology makes the world go round. Okay, and who makes technology? You guys. So if you want to make big money and set yourself up to have a long-term skill that gets you long money and build true wealth, and then you could still jump over to computer science if you want. That's the thing. That's crazy. Now it's possible that I've met one person who goes from computer science to electrical engineering, actual degree and some experience, but it's different, man. I know because personally I wanted to do that. But I said, no, I like physics. In at heart, I'm an applied physicist. We're all applied physicists. So the EMAG and stuff. I'm talking too much. I'm on a soapbox here, so I'm going to shut up. That's the program. And if you can show it and prove that you're a student, oh man, I hope the engineers who are making money don't see this video because they'll be like, what the hell, man, Kirsch? You giving these students a discount? You know, give me that discount too, Kirsch. Because people have already enrolled um, with the 497, but I'll do the 197 if you're only a student. If you could prove that you're only a student, we could do it. But you only get access to 6 months. I'm not going to give you lifelong access because I don't want to gyp the people who paid the 497 already because that's unfair. Uh, Analog and digital. So now I'm going to take questions. That's the offer. Oh, I forgot to actually put the link to the program. So I'm going to answer your questions once I put the link in the program. And thank you so much for staying with me this long. Of course, you could leave and come back. I'll leave I'll leave this video up for the next couple of hours, probably the next 12 hours. So you could watch it on your own time, watch the rest of it on your own time and enroll. Um, this is the link to the program. Okay, so now it'd be great if you could just drop that the 497. I'm trying to make this money too, so hey, because the more people who enroll at the 497, the better I could do my job. Oh, I forgot to mention one other thing. There's another opportunity. Once you actually go to the page to enroll, then look at the enrollment options. Oh, and to get the specific coupon for your student thing, you need to email me at kirsch@hussofu.com to get that discount lower than the 497. Um, it's not on here by default. I could change it up, but I'll just give you a coupon. To get in with the 497, you can enroll right now, and then you get the program forever. All future developments of the program, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything. You could not touch the program for the next 6 months, 2 years. It's still there, and it'll be worth probably 5 grand or 10 grand. But you got in, and so you have access to all the stuff, and products already uploaded. And we're going to be adding rigid flex designs. We're going to be adding power distribution network stuff. We're going to be adding. I'm always going to keep it up to date with the latest version of Orcad. Oh, and by the way, if you have version 17.2 or 16.6, I got you. I have more experience in those than a 17.4, and I have those as well. So I know all the not all the differences, but I know the fundamental differences that matter. To where it don't matter if you have 16.6, it don't matter if you have 17.2, it don't matter if you don't have 17.4. I got you. I know the differences, so you don't have to worry about your software version. Um, some additional perks. Once you enroll, you get a swag bag and the complete the Hitchhiker's Guide to PCB Design from EMA Design Automation delivered to you for free. And that's part of the enrollment of this program. I think that's not with you may not get that with a student subscription though. You're not going to get if you paid a 497, you'll get it on the 987. There's a second option though. If you're fine with the 90, if you want to just try the program, you can put in your card, get charged $1 today, do the first week of training, and then because I'll be training starting tomorrow and on Sunday for a lot of hours, you're gonna get a lot of the training. You're probably gonna get through 2 boards. I'm probably gonna teach through the first 2 designs. And at the end of about 5 days in, if it's not for you, just say, hey, Kirsch, I'm not really, I don't think it's gonna work out for me. I don't want you to charge my card for the 997. I'll be like, okay, no questions asked. Now I may send you a follow up to say, hey, how can I improve? How could it be better for you? What would have made you decide to really go with it? Uh, then that's cool. Um, but if you cancel before the 7 days is up, then you won't get charged. You get to try it out. It's not the full program because that's not going to be fair to the people who enrolled and committed. But people who are already enrolled, if you're on here or you're watching this video, if the program doesn't work for you, you can also get a refund. You have to do it like halfway through the lessons, though, not the whole program. Like, you know. Um, Additionally, let me see. So, I, additional offer a better system, micro master science from Southampton, Leeds, and master science and chip design offer from Imperial. What will you do if you had the choice? Thank you. Okay, so we're fielding questions about. Okay, so that's a question about what to do for the. That's something that I'd answer. Um, Offer from South Imperial. Okay, that's a very strategic question. I would need to know your personal goals and things like that. But I would say whatever has the bigger name, the bigger. I don't even know who those are, honestly. Um, I would say automatically whoever goes with the bigger name. Um, I mean, whoever has the bigger name. Because if you could get your foot in the door, like, look, I was at one point where I actually told Apple Recruiter, I'm like, hey, if I could, dude, just let me, just hire me to get you guys coffee. I just want Apple on the resume. Now that's bad, right? That's desperation right there. But I'm just saying, Imperial has a bigger name in Europe. Chris, you mentioned payment. Now, here's the thing too. If the job is close enough, if you're going to be miserable at the job at Imperial, don't take the job at Imperial. Like, But if the job is close enough to where you won't be miserable and it's a little different, but you could roll with it, take it. Because if the other company that's not as big has a job you really want, and Imperial has multiples of the job you really want, just not right now, you could probably finagle your way or transition your way into the job you want. That doesn't always happen practically. You may have to like reapply and stuff, but companies hire internally before they even post a job description. Keep that in mind. Kirsch, you mentioned payment plans in your first video. Is that still available? Yeah. So the payment plan. So I do have the payment plan set up and it's hidden. I thank you for mentioning that. So the payment plan you would end up spending um you would end up spending it depends on which payment plan you're talking about. I set up a payment plan that charges you 397 times 3 charges to maintain access to the program. Um let me see. 997 divided by no, if we do 1200 divided by 100. It depends. I wasn't quite sure on the payment plans. There are some options. 397 times 3 payments. That might be the longest I do. I'm not sure. To get the program for good. To still get the program for good at the 997. Any other payment plans, you only get access as long as you're paying, and that's it. The people who pay, if you do the 497 today, you don't have to worry about no temporary access or losing access. You just get it. There's another potential option. If you want to do $97 per month for 12 months, you can do that for access to the program month to month. But I almost don't even want to offer that because all kinds of stuff could happen. So that no, that needs to be a very special case. But we could talk about potential payment plans. But you know, if you need to get a credit card, like put it on there, something for the 497. Imperial has a big name, yes. Analog and digital grounds are required to suppress the rapid change in current, yep, which results in the inductance result, yeah. While having a front end circuitry. I'm not sure what a front end circuitry is. Um, I'm bad with industry terms or like electrical engineering terms. Small AC inputs. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, certainly analog to digital grounds are so analog is very sensitive. It's very sensitive to noise and it's very sensitive to signals that change rapidly. Because of it picks up those different frequencies and harmonics on a frequency bandwidth. I mean, on that create a nice sharp signal. Like when you get that sharp signal, you have your multiple harmonics and the Fourier transforms that vary for different degrees. So you want to keep your. Why does it matter if we keep the digital grounds and the analog grounds separate? I'll tell you because. So if you're here, I made an offer for the 497 a little bit earlier. So if you're here for the offer, if you're here for the core training, that's fine. You can you can rewind in this video, or you can check out this training I'm about to do right now, this extra piece of training. So to answer your question, the reason why we have, okay, I know electronics, but I don't know how to clear my iPad. Okay, there we go. The The reason for that is because every signal that has input signal, everything that has an input signal, we have the two layers, has a return signal, just like how you learn in the transmission line theory. Surprise, surprise. That's how everything works. And so when it comes to these crazy little electrons, which I love. They're fantastic. Um, every current finds a way to return to its source. That's so Enoch just asked, every current returns back to ground. Technically the only ground that exists is the earth ground, like the physical earth, like a pole or piece of steel that goes into the actual physical earth, because that's to get to a lowest point of potential. PCBs don't have a ground. PCBs have plates of copper that provide paths for the electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic fields technically, to run through them at um, sub at sub light speeds. The actual electrons and holes flow at a significantly slower speed. But anyway, that's me getting crazy. Um, yeah, wherever the source is that generated the signal, whether this is a chip, imagine there's a chip. This is the big fat blown up projection of a Texas Instruments chip, and its little lead, and it sends a digital high signal, which is just 5 volts or something, 3.3 volts, whatever. And then that rises very quickly. That rise and a signal, that gets propagated across here. Well, let me put that in green. That gets propagated across the top layer of the copper, and it tries to find the path of least impedance that will allow it, notice I said impedance, that would allow it to travel back to its source. So, if you have a ground plane on the bottom here, this answers the other question. Signal integrity and stuff answers the question of why the heck do we have whole ground planes? What's that for? Well, we call them ground planes, but they're big sheets of copper for electromagnetic fields to return through to the source. The field sees this, and it sends its magnetic signals outward, and if the return plane is wide, it captures and absorbs all that magnetic signal such that there is very little inductance induced on to the plane. When you have lower inductance with a signal, that's your omega L, so that's your 2 pi times the frequency of the signal propagation, signal transition actually, times L, the inductance. This L is induced actually by the E field, I mean not the E field, sorry, the B field? Anyway, and this creates an inductance. If this inductance is low, this frequency is going to stay the same anyway. 2 pi is a constant. The lower this inductance is, the lower your impedance is. The current is going to look at that and be like, oh, that's a passive lead impedance. I'm going to go through here. Go straight into, and comes back through the path that's been created by the magnetic field. That means typically if your plane is uniform and not chopped up into shapes and all that stuff and voids, it's going to follow the path right underneath the trace that was on top of that plane, and it's going to follow that path right underneath the trace from the top, back to the source, because that's typically the path of least impedance. So why do we separate the digital ground and analog ground? Because if we have our digital ground and our analog, okay, I separated them there. If we have our digital and our analog, let's call this digital and analog. If we have our signals from the analog being generated from the analog or whatever, coming through to the bottom of the PCB, sending the return signals to the bottom of the PCB, and the digital, and they're sensitive to noise. And crosstalk, or they're extra sensitive because they're analog, and they're trying to get this small, tiny little signal. And you have your digital signal sending their fast, Speedy Gonzalez signals all over the place with these high harmonics. The return paths are also going to have high harmonics on the bottom on the digital side, and they're going to start interfering with the return signals of the analog circuit. And then it's just going to be a mess of return signals cross-talking all over the place. And the problem with that, and the additional problem with that, is that you're going to have a return plane that's supposed to be ground. Your return reference is going to have varying voltage levels that, if it varies on the millivolt level, which typically would be the case, if your ground and your return signals vary by 5 millivolts, the 5 millivolts that's coming in from this point to ground is going to look like 0 millivolts. That's a problem. Yeah, exactly. You're going to have continuous changes on your return plane or your return paths. Your return plane, because of the return paths crossing over and interfering with each other, that you have an unstable reference, which is going to render your low voltage input signal, if that input will vary. So we separate those two ground planes so that we force the return path to be in only one little notch, so that, because the return paths will literally go to the bottom and only make their way through that little notch, because they're not going to go through the path of greatest impedance. They're going to go through the path of least impedance. And if the path of least impedance is only that digital side going through that one notch into the analog side, then it's going to go all the way through there, and it can't go to the analog side, because the electromagnetics are not going to want to jump across the gap. So yeah, that is that's the secrets that I wanted to reveal. I was hoping to get the PDF out to y'all so you have your personal roadmap to go through. The same roadmap we're pretty much going to be following through the program. So yeah, take a look at the link. I will paste the link in the chat below again, and also in the description. I'm only going to leave it up there temporarily for the next, let's say, 8 hours. You have until midnight tonight to at least get on an email with me. No, we need to close this out. You need to email me tonight, and I need to be able to respond to you. Now, if you email me tonight and I don't respond because I fell asleep or something, then that's fine, or I took too long. As long as you email me tonight by 11 p.m., then I can do something, or I'll consider it, and I'll close the program, but then still enroll you at the price point that works. But I'm gonna be fair to the people who paid the $497, because we see here this is public too. So I'm not trying to be in the business of taking money and and stuff like that. So I'm just letting you know. If you could come up with the $497, even if you gotta get a credit card put on the credit card, that's fine. Even if you make $18.50 an hour, you just need to work 25 hours to pay that off. And with a zero balance, again, with the 25 extra hours you spend over time, and you get essentially a $2,000 program for free, and infinite options for skills. I'm trying to do my best here, to make it work, so I can give my best in the program. That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah, in my PCB design, I use only the SPYOS to share small area between the two ground planes. Yeah, that's good enough. Anyway, once again, man, thank you. Yeah. And then I think about it, there's a continuous changes from slightly different, so fluctuating. Okay, small AC inputs. Okay, so that's the link to the program. If you're curious about it, please email me. And for the 497, that's gonna close in a couple hours. Hopefully somebody's enrolled at this point, because I actually should have closed it about 10 minutes ago, probably. No, not 10 minutes ago. In the next hour, ideally I should close it, but I'm gonna keep it open until midnight tonight. You have until midnight tonight. I'll do it until midnight tonight. You have until midnight to pay the 497 you want to get the program for good. It's a $2,000 program, at least. The actual value, though, I'm going to be putting $10,000 of value in this program. It's already at about $6,000 in value. Um, oh, right. The training tomorrow will start at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That will be live training, and it will last for 2 hours for tomorrow. Then Sunday, since people are usually more, because that's Saturday. Now people are usually more available on Sunday, I would assume. So I'll be doing, and I'll post a schedule. I'll be doing two. Let me just write it actually, and I'll put it in the description. Sunday, 8 a.m. CST to 10 a.m. CST, and then again. I'll try to get another session in on Sunday. If we're not able to get a live session in, I'm going to do another 2 hours on Sunday and record them and post them. And then the schedule will be pretty much that on the weekends. So we could work through the stuff. And it's Saturday, 3 p.m., 5 p.m. CST. Oh, I also forgot. Saturday, I'm also doing an early intake session, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. To 9:30 a.m. CST. I know this is all over the place. Please bear with me. ST. I know your time zone is different for some of you, so you can watch the recordings. That's fine. If you have questions from the recording, ask away. And you can also use that 30 minutes a week guaranteed one-on-one with me. But also keep in mind, you can send me as many emails as you want to. So, but not that you would have to send me emails, since you'd be in the message portal, which is, the benefit of enrolling in the program. I mean, it's a lot of stuff on there. Also, if there's anything you want me to add to the program, we're building this together. This isn't set in stone. If it's going to be something you need me to add to the program to make it worth it for you, I'll do that. I know a lot more than what I'm putting in this program. MATLAB, Simulink, control systems, modern control systems, advanced control systems, power electronics design and theory, like electric cable harness wiring diagrams and drawings, electrical system design. And that's just in electrical and electronics engineering. I'm not even talking about Python programming and raw automation and C programming for embedded systems. I know that stuff as well. And then also there's technical presentations, the technical presentation module. I mean, it's not a module, but I'm just saying I can train you up on some technical presentations. Okay. So this one I didn't have quite as planned out as well, but yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna wait around a bit more for anybody who has any questions, but probably for another 30 seconds. If you don't have any questions within the next 30 seconds, I'm probably gonna dip, probably gonna head out, get some things done, and I'm gonna hurry up and work on this PDF that I kept promising y'all. Oh, there's one more thing. Sorry for those of you who left. The first 5 people who enroll in the program at the 497 rate. If you roll in the other plans and stuff, then it's not going to work for you. But for those who roll in the 490 with the 497 rate, you get EMA has promised to give you a coupon, a free coupon to take their certification exam in any Orcad tool of your choice. So that not any Orcad, but of the three big ones, you could get EMA approved certificate from once you pass the exam in Orcad PSpice, Orcad PCB Editor, or Orcad Capture. I'm sure a lot of you will want to do it for Orcad PCB Editor. Finally, once you do enroll, you do an onboarding call, find out where you're at, the welcome. I covered that earlier. And then you'll also get some swag from EMA Design Automation, including the Hitchhiker's Guide to PCB Design, which gives you the full lay of the land. Finally, we'll be using 3 books to guide us. So this is not no pie in the sky stuff. Um, in general, question everything. That's always my principle, my motto. So I will be teaching what I know, but I do not expect, and nor can I teach you everything in the realm of PCB design. Um, question, right? Study, verify. I'm not saying I don't have your back because I'll be doing the same. That's what I'm doing. That's why it took me 2 years to even announce this. Um, but you're engineers, right? So my goal is to get you to the point where I'm at and beyond. All right. So if you're by the end of the program, if you're not where I'm at, then I don't know how satisfied I'll be. Okay. Okay. So you need to be where I'm at or better by the end of the program. You need to be making 100K. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I've got for the program. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video, watching this presentation. It was extra long, went far longer than I intended, but that's how we do it. We put the training in there, we put a little bit of tips and tricks, we put in some theory up in there, and then also I announced the program and the full spectrum of it. If you want more details on the program, or if you have suggestions on what's going to make it work for you in order to drop that 497 on that program, that's fine. You can also try it out. You get charged that dollar, and then if the program does, and then 7 days from now, you don't have to do anything. You'll still stay in the program. It'll be $9.97 charge 7 days from now if you do the $1 enrollment. The details are on the page for that link. You still get full access to the program, but it'd be $9.97 if you go with the dollar option. If you go with the $4.97 option, you don't have to worry about any extra stuff. You just pay for the $4.97, and then you're good. You could be making if you have a full-time job like and you have an electrical engineering degree, you could probably work at most 20 hours to make your money back for the 497. I'm just saying. Just saying. This is a $2,000 program minimum, but we're building the program. We're doing the live coaching. I want to make sure that you have every advantage you can possible. 497, I worked it out. The numbers out is what's going to be able to. I have a full time job. Like I have a day job and and projects that I'm doing, and I'm also a PhD student. So I'm trying to make it work for me so I can deliver the best that I can do for this program. So I'm trying to get the 497 in. That's so I can deliver the good stuff because I got some good stuff coming your way. Okay, I'm trying to get this the 6 grand value that it's at right now is not enough for me. I'm trying to get $12,000 in value in this program for you. That's not even an exaggeration. And the coaching alone for the job hunting stuff, I I would charge $1 grand for that easy. Like if somebody came to me and walk you through the whole process and some coaching and stuff, that's a grand easy. Um, so just that one bonus is worth 997. So anyway, um, I done talking about all that. If you have questions, email me at kirsch@housesoulfood.com. The link will be in the description below. You also have the link to the course, which is going to stay open until midnight. Anyone who you know, talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, talk to your cousins, whoever, put some money together, pool some money, and do that thing. Have Now, this is not, anyway, whatever method you need to use, do what you need to do. You're going to make the money back anyway, plus some more. And whatever money you're using now to like anyway, it's up to you. It's your life. Uh Understand that once I give you the PDF, that's also a roadmap you can follow. It may take you longer, but you can still do it. So that's an option as well. So don't feel pressure to do whatever. I know I've been pressuring you because I want you to enroll so we can get this over with in 3 months or less, and you can just be on with your life. But you know, yeah. All right, well, I'm done talking. I'm just talking to myself. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, people, engineers. Appreciate your time. It means a lot to me. It's a whole 2 hours and 21 minutes. I know you got work to do. Let's get out of here. Email me. Y'all have a good day. See y'all on the next one. Bye, everybody.